I another thing is just I think Apex just really needs to push their competitive side a little bit more. And I kind of wanted to get your opinion on how they could do that. Just one idea that I would have is, like, I know CSGO, whenever there's a major tournament going on, whenever you launch into the game, you have a small little tab, like with the Twitch link of like their major tournament. And I think Apex could do that very easily with like a small little like tab on the right side of the screen. Whenever there's an ALGS kind of tournament going on, they could just have a small little thing saying, hey, we're live on Twitch with the best pro players. Click here to kind of watch. What do you think that Respawn and EA can really do to be able to push their competitive side of Apex to be able to bring it to the forefront of the casual fan base?
More marketing probably is probably like the easiest like forehead answer. I know they didn't always do it, but they've started to throw it into like their like when you launch the game. But the only problem with that is, like, it would be nice if they could embed the stream somehow, like a streaming tab in their game. Like, I know, like, PUBG, I think, does a really good job of it, where anytime there is a tournament coming up, I mean, they have their own, like, franchise league and everything, but anytime a tournament's coming up, they have, you know, not only do they have cosmetics for it, but I know that's the reason we don't see that is, like, there's some, like, legal troubles with it. It's not exactly as easy as people think, but there's usually cosmetics for it. They hype it up beforehand. You can watch it in-game. Like, stuff in game changes when things happen, or when tournaments happen. Yeah, and there's like this whole streamer tab and all that. I think that would be a really good way to bring it to, because there's a lot of people that log into Apex every day. There's not a lot of people that care too much about. I mean, there are, but like there's probably a surprising amount of people, I would venture, that probably don't even care about the Twitch side or the streamer side. They just play Apex to play it. And I think that's one way to easily bridge that gap. Like, the best marketing tool you have is your game, right? Like, is the game that people log on to play every day. I know a lot of the messages that come in that advertise the game or advertise the ALGS tournaments don't come until like the day of the tournament, right? And maybe your average player isn't logging on every day. So maybe like a little thing where like upcoming events or something would be nice. All sorts of, I think the marketing could certainly stand to be a little bit better. And then, of course, like event skins and stuff like that. But like I said, that's probably much harder to do. And one thing I remember when like the game was kind of shooting out to become an esport, I'm surprised they don't have it as like part of the banners in game. I remember the first time I played the game, I was like, that banner system is so cool. Like, you could see, like, they could probably do a lot with it. They could have like sponsors on there, maybe even mid tournament, they could have sponsors thrown on there. They could like do. They could advertise events in there. You know, they could do so much more with those banners in game. I'm surprised they don't.
That would be actually a really kind of cool idea. I didn't even really thought about that. I remember watching a montage or whatever of this guy who kind of like keyed out and masked out the banners, and he kind of put like whatever he wanted to there for like a advertisement, like exactly how you were saying. I think that would be really, really cool idea to be able to do that. That would just be able to bring who's ever promoting the tournament to the forefront of the viewer, and just kind of like hopefully be able to make more money for the actual sponsor, and then that would make them in return want to do it again and just have a consistent sponsorship from whatever company that would be. That's a really good idea. What changes would you personally want to see be done to Apex competitively? Like, I know Shiv, he kind of famously was ranting about the self-reses and kind of got that kind of single-handedly thrown out the game, even though there was a lot of backlash about it prior to that clip happening. What can you see as a coaching standpoint? What would you want to see be changed about Apex Comp to be able to make it even better than it already is?
Yeah, so I was thinking, crap, I had an idea and I just completely lost my train of thought on that. What was the first part of the question? Sorry, I completely like blanked.
It's basically just like, what could you see change about Apex Legends competitively to be able to make it better?
Right. Right. The whole Shiv thing. Well, Shiv, I mean, a lot of the things that Shiv feels, and like when he like that's like that gold res is something that almost everybody, at least on the comp side, wanted taken out for a while. It was just that one clip that was very beautifully executed, I might say. It was just that one clip that kind of made it really, I guess, brought it to the forefront. And obviously, with it getting as much engagement as it did, they kind of realized that maybe people don't want it. The competitive team, I know this might be like a big cap for some people, but the competitive team, I mean, I talk to them a lot, actually. They do tend to try to listen to people as much as possible when it comes to at least the competitive side. They are trying to, I talked to Shaheen a lot, and they are trying to actively make it something that the comp scene themselves kind of almost form. But, they don't really, they don't always take kindly to people just complaining incessantly on Twitter. But something I would want changed, and I think most of the pros, is, for example, is take Kraber out of competitive. Obviously, Kraber is like such a content weapon, and it's really cool when someone gets a knock. But competitively, the Kraber is awful. Like in a game like Apex, like getting one-shotted for something that you virtually could not see coming. If you're, like say you're fighting a team, and then somebody 150 meters out that you had no idea was there, and like you really couldn't tell was there. There's no real indicator. All of a sudden, whips out a Kraber that was never shown in the kill feed or whatever. It was their first shot of the game with it. Like, there's no counterplay to it. And in Apex, you need some form of counterplay to everything. Otherwise, it's going to feel really bad to play competitively. So first and foremost, definitely take the Kraber out. I know PvPX has been harping on this a lot forever, but I think upping loot in general in competitive would be nice. It really sucks to push a fight in competitive, or have to push a fight when you just don't have the things you need. Like, you might have an entire POI to yourself, but you don't have the things you need to fight, which feels really bad. I know PUBG does this. Their loot is like increased from the base game in competitive like 3 to 4 times. And I understand they don't want to change the game too much from, with the comp scene, to what the the casual game is, because, if they want the casuals to see the same game that the pros are playing. And I get that, but I don't think upping like the loot necessarily would be something crazy game changing, right? So I think upping loot in general would be really nice. Something like taking out, like maybe having all of them drop in with all white gear, white backpack, white knockdown, all of that, so none of that is missing. And then I think that's the new LTM that's actually coming up, and then all just blue and purple past that on the ground. I think that would be overall a good change. I don't think anyone's going to complain in Apex about having more loot. So yeah, that's probably some of the at least immediate changes that I would probably do, or want.
Yeah, they're doing that for the anniversary event, I believe, where they're just all white items are just completely gone from the game. I think that like you were saying, that's gonna be a great change. It's gonna be able to open up the loot pool for a lot of different things that could be either added or just be able to make, like a purple armor a little bit easier to find, because there's less things in the loot pool for things to be able to spawn in. And like you were saying with the Kraber being taken out, I know that in the most recent ALGS where here's a question. I remember when you used to cast, you were the only caster to be able to say, I believe it was solidified, and then everybody else called it Solifide. Which way is the best way to be able to say that team's name? From someone who probably knows.
It's Solifide.
Solifide? Okay.
Mm-hmm. No, I was one saying that I'm pretty sure I was the one saying it is Solifide because, or at least, yeah, because I VOD reviewed them, I think, before I started casting. I could be wrong on this part. The timeline's a little hazy. But I remember the first time I ever VOD reviewed Solifide, the people from the org came in and told me how to do it. They told me what to say. So
I remember it was just like a complete disconnect from one caster to the next, and it was just so funny to be able to just listen to it or even just watch the tournament. And like you were saying, the Kraber, it's just like in the most recent ALGS event, like SF, I think it was Jen who had it. He just walked up on NRG and Countdown and just completely one-shot sweet, and then it was just a team wipe from there. And then even in the most recent Lulu tournament, day one, where it was a Prize and How in a 2v3, just somebody came up, Prize just hit him one time, and it was 123 damage. That gun just completely shifts any kind of fight within competitive, and especially like in competitive, where just if anything does over 100 damage, it completely shifts how a fight is actually run. And just like one shot potential kill gun, it just completely shifts everything. I'm sure you're known in the community for a multitude of reasons, whether it's a coach, whether it's a player, or whether it's the VOD reviews. How do you personally kind of set yourself apart from being known as just the coach or the guy who does the VOD reviews? How do you self-sustain the name Hodsic?
I mean, probably just continuing to play. You know, I mean, I've definitely since becoming a coach, I probably don't grind as hard as I used to, because now I have like other things I need to tend to as well. But I mean, I still play ranked. I still try to scrim when I can if my team needs me, or every now and then I'll fill if I have the time to. I'll fill for like other teams just to, you know, keep up to shape. But I mean, still playing the game, trying to. I don't try to maintain high rank, but you know, I'm friends with a lot of the pros. They know me. They know what I can do, so I still play with them and streaming pretty much. You know, if I don't stream, the more I don't stream, the more I think people would see me as like just a coach. You know, and the more I don't play the game, people would see me as that. So I think just maintaining the ability to play the game really.